NMISA, as an entity of the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, gets its mandate from the Measurement Units and Measurement Standard Act number 18 of 2006, which was enacted in essence to establish the National Metrology Institute of South Africa to be the custodian of the national measurement standards, to develop, keep and maintain the national measurement standards of units, to ensure that the application of the International System of Units, the SI, in South Africa is at a level where it is comparable with the international system. Metrology Institute in a few areas, I can say threefold. First, to ensure that develops, keeps and maintain the national measurement standards for quantities that are measured in the country. Secondly, it represents the country internationally in relation to the National Metrology Institutes of other countries. In our current system with the MITA Convention, within the BIPM, the National Metrology Institute becomes a representative of the country that ensures that standards of the country are comparable the measurement standards of other countries, thus forming a base of the quality infrastructure that ensures acceptability, testing or measurement certificates that are issued by a specific country. In this case, South Africa, our measurement certificates, our testing certificates are accepted internationally because of the accreditation that we have, but that is on the basis of the national measurement standards that are realized and then disseminated to the measuring industries by the National Metrology. For one to be competitive in trading, one has to demonstrate and prove that their products are of good quality. There is standards that have been set as minimum requirements. So the proving of compliance to those minimum standards by the products requires measurements which the National Metrology Institute plays in that space. First, as I indicated, ensuring that our measurement standards to which the measurements that are done by industry have to be traceable, those are comparable. So the measurement standards are internationally comparable with the standards of the international system, that is of other countries. As we talk about measurement standards, it is a common occurrence that people would confuse it with paper standards. Yes, paper standards would refer to the scientific standards. So the measurement standards that I'm referring to are the scientific standards, the measurement units, like, for example, the kilogram itself or the meter itself. Those are the measurement standards that I'm talking about, where the National Metrology Institute concerns itself with the realization of those measurement standards and then disseminating them to those that use those standards in industry. The National Metrology Institute of South Africa, or any other measurement institute in the world for that matter, maintains or builds the confidence in their measurements is through participation in the international system. There are areas where we compare the national measurement standards of the different countries, and basically the role of the International Bureau of Weights and Measures that is mandated by the MITA Convention is actually to ensure the organization of those inter-comparisons of the national measurement standards of the different countries. So participation in that international system. And as the National Metrology Institute of South Africa, we do participate fully in that international system. And then we organize our regional system that builds up from the sub-region to the continent in the form of SADC-MET in the sub-region and AfriMETs in the continent, and eventually participating in the BIPM systems. Just for your information, NMISA as an institution, we participate in all 10 of the consultative committees of the BIPM to ensure that all measurements that are performed in the country are compared with measurement capabilities of the rest of the world. And that intercomparison is the one that gives us that confidence that we are comparable and competitive in our measurements. Our role in the protection of health and safety and the environment can be summarized as follows. In most cases, the goods that are traded would have an impact on health and safety and the environment. So part of the measurements that gets done, or the testing, if I may use a layman's terms, part of the testing that gets done is to ensure or assure the safety of the products that are to be used in the industry. So those measurement standards that we develop, those measurement standards that we disseminate to industry are actually ensuring that when they get applied in testing that relates to health, safety, and the environment, they are comparable, and as a result assures the safety of the end user at the end of the day. In terms of health, there is direct requirements for equipment that are used in the medical field for them to be calibrated. There is, as an example, a direct requirement, if I may use an example of oxygen, because we are now in a serious COVID-19 pandemic. The need for oxygen has become very pronounced. And you might go pick up any oxygen and give it to a patient, and only to find that it is impure or it is of a bad quality that might actually cause death as opposed to helping the patients recover. So we as a Metrology Institute provide the purified reference gas mixtures, which are the reference materials that are used by the medical industry to test for the purity and the safety of the gas oxygen that is to be used in industry. So those are but a few examples of how we as a Metrology Institute, as the base of the quality infrastructure, assures the health, safety, and environmental protection. At the highest level of realizing the measurement standards using scientific methods, and then maintaining those standards and disseminating them to the users is scientific metrology. So scientific metrology concerns itself with the development and realization of the measurement standards, and that international comparison that I was referring to. Then at the application of those measurement standards, usually it's in industry where there is production, where there is manufacturing, where there is testing for the quality of equipment, and even at academic research for developing new methods and equipments, is industrial metrology, which concerns with itself with ensuring that the measuring equipment that are used in industry are calibrated and traceable to the national measurement standards, or to the measurement standards that are developed at the scientific metrology level. Then when you level, which is the legal metrology, Legal metrology concerns its measurements where there is a influence on trade, more especially, and where that trade, as I indicated, health, safety, and so on, gets raised as a risk once you start trading in goods and services. So where the measurements, then that's the area of metrology that we call legal metrology. As I say, it is a continuum that operates as a full system of metrology that assures that the quality infrastructure for ensuring the protection of the population, the health and safety thereof, and protecting the environment, and ensuring trade is fair. As I indicated earlier, in the cases where measurements have to do with the fairness of trade, that's what we then put that level of metrology as legal metrology. So there's no difference per se, but it is a continuum starting from the realization to the application to ensure health, safety, and protection of the environment at the other end. For us to be able to effectively provide our service as mandated by the Act, it is an imperative that we must develop and keep and maintain relationships with different stakeholders. Just starting from the Quality Infrastructure Institute, what we in South Africa call the technical infrastructure, which includes the South African Bureau of Standards for Documentary Standards, as I referred to earlier on, the National Regulator for Compulsory Specification, who look at legal metrology and other applications of regulations. And then we have SANAS, who looks at accreditation as part of the ILEC system of accreditation for South Africa. So we engage with those, but I want to indicate that when it comes to regulators, it is not only the NRCS that we engage with. We keep relationships with other regulators in different sectors. Then in the region, we then have a system that we call SADC-MET, which is part of the SADC quality infrastructure setup, where we were part of the founding members of or that helped in establishing SADC-MET. Then that group later into what is now called AfriMETS, the Africa Metrology System, which includes both legal and scientific. So in the continent, then we have a structure that is pulling together the quality infrastructure entities or bodies for the continent into what is now called the Pan-African Quality Infrastructure that helps the quality infrastructure entities engage better with continental bodies such as the African Union and other related entities. So we as an NMI keep relationships and maintain them with all those stakeholders. For closing, I must say it is very important that we continue to recognize and realize the value of a quality infrastructure in an economy. If now we are looking at post COVID rebuilding of our economy, and it is only with competitive products that we will be able to build a strong, sustainable industry. And for that, we need a very well-resourced quality infrastructure. To rebuild our economy, we should go back to the base, start at the base of the economy, which is the quality infrastructure that involves measurement and testing and proving the quality and safety of the products that we are taking into the industry. Thank you.